Tanha pacca upadana, right? Upadana pacca bhava. Existence. It was said, with craving as condition there is clinging. How that is so ananda should be understood in this way. If there were absolutely and utterly no craving of any kind, anywhere, that is, no craving for visible forms, sounds, smells, taste, tangibles, mental objects, then in complete absence of craving, with the cessation of craving, would clinging be discerned? Buddha points it out so accurately, clearly, vividly, unmistakably that we should understand it very clearly. If there is no craving for anything, remember in Maha Nidana Sutta we just finished, the craving arises, tanha craving arises in 60 places, 60 ways, right? We studied that. So long as we have 6 senses, craving arises. In this discourse, Buddha did not mention at the beginning salayatana paccaya phasso. Salayatana paccaya phasso he did not mention. But salayatana mentioned here, under craving. So, salayatana means 6 senses, although they are not mentioned at the beginning, at the contact, but it is mentioned here, under craving. Upadana. Yeah.
Craving for
and clinging, upadana. So the answer is when Nohitam Bhante. Tasmati ananda eva eseva hetu etan nidanang esa samudho esa pacho upadanasya yadidang tanha. Clinging is due to craving. Okay. Craving is craving for form, feeling, what do you call form, sound, smell, taste, touch, and these are the 5 core of sensual pleasures. Mind is not mentioned there. Dhammatana, yes, mind is mentioned here.
mental objects.
Yeah, mental objects is there. So all the 6 sensory objects are mentioned. To have 6 sensory objects, to have craving through 6 sensory objects, there has to be senses. Eye, ear, nose, tongue, and so on. So it is implied that 6 senses are implied in this passage, although it is not mentioned in the beginning. Then so craving also must have cause. Feeling as condition, there is craving. How is to be understood? that is, no feeling born of eye contact, and so on. Now, when there is contact, there is a feeling. What are the contacts? 6 kinds of contacts. Without the contact, no feeling arises. And then Buddha start a new section, which we don't find in the other dependent origination discourses. In this new discourse, in new section, he tells Venerable Ichigopanetang ananda vedanang paticca sannang, tannam paticca pariyesana, pariyesanam paticca labho, labham paticca vinicchayo, vinicchayam paticca chandarago, chandaragam paticca ajjosana, ajjosanam paticca pariggavo, pariggaham paticca maccharyam, maccharyam paticca arakko, arakkam paticca arakkadikaranam dandadana sattadana kalha viggaha vivada pesunya musavada aneke papaka kusala dhamma sambhavanti. So, it is very, very practical aspect he brings out here, very practical aspect. That is, independence upon feeling, there is craving. In dependence upon craving, there is a pursuit. This we don't find in other dependent origination. In dependence upon pursuit, there is gain. In dependence upon gain, there is a decision making. Independent upon decision making, there is a lust. Independent upon desire and lust, there is attachment. Independence upon attachment, there is a possessiveness. Dependence upon possessiveness, there is a stinginess. Independence upon stinginess, there is safeguarding. And because of safeguarding, various evil, unwholesome phenomena originates, such as taking up of clubs, weapons, conflicts, quarrels, disputes, insulting speech, slanderous speech, and falsehood. So practical. Now, let us take each of them. Pariyesana. Pariyesana means searching, researching, and so forth, is based on tanha, craving. Then when we do research or search, we gain something. When we gain, labham paticca vinicchayo, then we decide how much I keep, how much I share, or how much I throw away. You keep. When we keep, chanda raga arises. Chanda raga. That means desire and clinging. Desire and lust. Depending on desire and lust, chanda raga. Chandragam paticca ajjosana. When we have chanda, raga, desire and clinging, then possessiveness, we possess. And depending on possessiveness arises stinginess. We don't want to share. Once you possess, we don't want to share. When you don't want to share, we want to protect what we have. And because of this desire to protect, then we build up all kind of protections. Taking clubs and weapons, conflicts, quarrels, disputes, you see, insulting speech, slander and false speech. All this originates from safeguarding. Now, then Buddha explained each of them separately. Now, this is the sort of expanded version of Paticca, the dependent origination. There he asked Venerable Ananda the same questions. Because of safeguarding various evil, unwholesome phenomena originates the taking up clubs and so on. And then Buddha says, if there were absolutely and utterly no safeguarding of any kind anywhere, then in that completely absence of safeguarding, with the cessation of safeguarding, would those various evil, unwholesome phenomena originate? No, Venerable Sir. That is very obvious. You know, all this, Buddha put it in a very simple way, but wars, creating weapons, building bombs, secret service, police, army, in a sort of in a wider sense, when we expand this explanation to the current situation anywhere in the whole world, this is true. Because of the safeguarding, I want to protect my property, my this, my that. So, we build up all this. And Buddha said here, if there is no such thing as protection, would there all this be there? Using weapons, clubs, and he used weapons and clubs and so forth. Those are the primitive things those days they used, very basic things to fight. Now it has become more sophisticated. And if Buddha were to come today, he would talk about all modern fighting techniques and using airplanes and military, navy and all these things he would use today as examples. So dependent origination is not something very limited, very narrow teaching. It encompasses everything in our existence. So this is a very wide range of application when we think about it. And then Buddha says, goes to the next section, Maccharyam Patichara Kaiti Kopanetam Uttang and so on. If there is no stinginess, would there be any safeguarding? If there is no safeguarding and so on, so you can see the whole thing. He repeats asking Ananda the same question. Answers are all the same. Vinicchaya, Labha, Pariyesana, Tannam. Okay. possessiveness, and then we come to paragraph okay, come to 12, feeling, contact, paragraph 19. It was said with contact as condition there is feeling. How that is so, Ananda, should be understood in this way. If there were absolutely and utterly no contact of any kind anywhere, that is, no eye contact and so on, Buddha asked if would there be any feeling? No feeling. Now, here eyes, ears, nose, tongue and so forth, contact, eye contact, body contact and so forth, there are, while we still have them, there will be a state where there is no feeling. Right? Eyes are there, nose, ears, tongue, body and so forth are there, but still there is no feeling. Therefore we must understand the I here means not this outer fleshy part, but the ability or the power of seeing. Power of seeing is inside this, and that is become inactive at a certain stage. What is that stage? Where we don't feel, although there may be air touching our body, we don't feel that. Mosquito bite, we don't feel that. So, it is so long as the contact is there, feeling is there. Even though contact is there, feeling is not there. What is that state?
Nirodha Sampatti.
Nirodha
Sampatti.
Nirodha Samapatti.
Samadhi.
All the feelings, the senses are there, they are intact, still very powerful, clean, healthy, but feeling is not there. Feeling of perception and feeling and perception cease at that time. So Buddha is not referring to that, because that state is achieved after overcoming all these hindrances and so forth. The mind becomes so pure and clean and concentrated. At that level mind can go beyond all these feelings. That is not included here. And therefore, so long as six senses are intact, the person has consciousness and so forth, contact is there. Body contact and so on. Then feeling arises from that contact. Then Buddha goes on to next section. What is that? With the mentality and materiality, as condition there is contact. Now, even in Nirodha Samapatti, mentality and materiality are there, but no contact. But here, it is this explanation refers to ordinary state, before attaining that state. That is even that is a temporary one. Once you come out of that, your senses begin to operate, and then you will have contact. Should there be understood in this way? If those qualities, traits, signs, indicators through which there is a description of mental body were all absent, would designation contact be discerned in the mental body? This is very different explanation. What are the qualities, traits, signs, and indicators? These traits, signs, qualities, indicators refer to what? They refer to 4 mental aggregates. 4 mental aggregates. Feeling, perceptions, volitional formations, and consciousness. In the mentality and materiality category, this description, materiality is the form, mentality is feeling, perception, thought, and volitional formations. In other places, mentality means Phassa, Vedana, Sanya, Chetana, Manasikara, and Jivitindriya. Phassa means contact, feeling, Phassa, Vedana, Sanya, perception, Chetana, thought, and Manasikara is attention, plus Jivitindriya, life continuum. Life continuum. All these out of mentality and materiality. Mentality means these 6 things: Phassa, Vedana, Sanya, Chetana, Manasikara, and Jivitindriya. Now, even Jivitindriya is not included in this place. Phassa is the quality, what you call, it has, it describes, uses these things to describe this state of contact. When we experience anubhavana, we experience contact and we recognize contact, then we think of contact and we know the contact. These are the 4 functions of these 4 mental state, mentality. And therefore, so long as this mental state arises, we understand contact. 2 kinds of contacts. One is designation contact. What is designation contact? Contact that arises in the mind through the senses. Designation contact. Without consciousness, without feeling, without perception, without attention, the designation contact cannot arise in the mind. That means mind is the Lord that uses senses to bring information to the mind, including contact. So the agents of the mind to bring information to the mind are the senses, and therefore sense the information that or contact that happens or impress in the mind is called designation contact, because it is not directly contacting objects. What directly right out there in front line, so to say, are our five senses: eye, ear, nose, tongue and body. And the mind receives these senses and experience this contact. Therefore, designation contact refers to mental contact. And then so Buddha goes on to, if those qualities, traits, signs and indicators through which there is a description of mental body or material body were all absent, would impingement contact be discerned in the mental body? Now, impingement contact inform the mind that the sensory contact took place. The sensory contact itself is called impingement contact. Mental contact is called designation contact. So, descriptions in mental body are feeling, perception, thought, volition, formations and consciousness. Material body is physical body, form. So, designation contact be discerned in the material body. So, the senses are the designation. Mind receiving everything, therefore it is impinged in the mind. That is called impingement contact. So, Venerable Ananda replied, no, Venerables, if those traits, signs and so forth are not present, both contacts, impingement contact and designation contact, will not take place in the material body as well as mental body. Now, Buddha simply does not say due to depending on senses, six senses contact arises, but he goes into even deeper, more detail, to the very core of the subtle matter. Now, if those qualities, traits and indicators through which there is description of mental body and material body were all absent, would either designation contact or impingement contact discern? No, Venerable Sir. So designation contact and impingement contact take place depending on these four factors: feeling, perception, thought and volitional formations. These are called traits, qualities, signs, indicators and so on. I think we stop here and we continue this afternoon. Rest.